Hey everybody, I changed my camera angle and today we have behind me featured the art of my daughter Mariana, who drew that and did it. It's with pastels. She did it when she was 7, I think. So I thought that was pretty awesome and it's been hanging in my office since then. So hello, welcome to this kind of bonus pop-up live training. I'm going to be talking today about how to do a writing sprint. Now, I want to make sure that you know before I get started that today is the last day for early bird registration for the Academic Women's Writing Roadmap. The Academic Women's Writing Roadmap is a online course that helps academic women, that you can define that how you'd like, tenure track, non-tenure track, advanced PhD students, researchers, postdocs. It helps academic women write and publish more. And of course, the course is not, this course is open to anyone who identifies as a woman, and so we will not exclude anyone. So don't be fooled by the woman's in the title. I'm not trying to be extra binary. I'm just trying to invite into a safer space women who really need extra help and support about their writing and publishing. So today I'm going to be teaching a sample lesson from inside the course, and this lesson is on doing a writing sprint. So I got this idea of writing sprints. Hi, Lisa Ortiz. I got this idea of doing a writing sprint from actually, like, a lot of the ideas I get are from watching entrepreneurs, because I've been in this kind of new world of entrepreneurship for a while. And I learned about this sprinting technique from somebody in that world, actually one of my mentors that's Mariah Cos, and she talked about planning sprints to get your projects done. So the idea of a sprint is focused concentration on one writing project. So the benefit of sprinting is that when you're not task switching, you can potentially can be more effective at moving your projects to done, or at least moving your project along. Okay, so the idea of sprinting is a tool that I would like you to think about using. That's kind of in your bag of tricks for how to get your writing done. I'm audible listening to a book right now called Finish, about how to finish projects. It's by the author. I'm sorry, I don't have his name right at the top of my brain, but it's by the author of a book called Start. And he realized after he wrote this book, Start, that starting wasn't really people's problem. People's problem was finishing. And I think that really resonates with a lot of academics and their writing projects, right? That starting new projects, it's exciting, it's like shiny, it's like fun and new, and it gets your creative juices flowing. But academic writing projects take forever, right? They take a really long time. So seeing a project from its inception as an idea, which is probably an idea that you need to collect data on, and so maybe you have to get funding, and then you have to collect the data, and then you have to analyze the process. It's like years before you're actually publishing in some cases. It's different in different fields, right? So this idea of finishing something, a lot of people have half done and almost done projects hanging around. So in the Academic Women's Writing Roadmap, we talk about this specifically, and I teach a couple of strategies about how to make sure that you don't have too many almost done projects hanging around. And one of the things I talk about in the course is developing your writing system. And this lesson that I'm going to teach you right now about sprinting is part of that larger module. We also talk about managing your pipeline. We talk about your writing mindset, which is really, really important and something that I feel like we don't talk about enough in academia. I think a lot of mindset stuff, it feels a little bit like pop psychology, but we have real mindset things like around our writing. And a big idea of the course, and as you know, if you've been following me, a big idea that I talk about with your writing is creating positivity and positive feelings between you and your writing. So having said that, remember, early bird registration closes tonight. You can register at the link that is in the description here. It's just kathymazek.com/writing roadmap, and it'll take you there, and you can see the outline of all the modules and everything. So writing sprints. Okay, so a writing sprint is a 2-week focused push on one writing project. So what this means is that you kind of put your other writing projects aside, and all of your writing sessions for 2 weeks are going to be focused on one project. It could be a grant that you're trying to write and get out the door. It could be the beginning of a project, to get a project off the ground. This particularly works well for the end of a project. So when you kind of just don't have any more energy or momentum, this is a way to kind of create momentum around a project. So you're going to take 2 weeks, and if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that you don't have to include the weekends. It just can be Monday through Friday. And what you're going to do is you're going to try to find 1 to 2 hours a day to dedicate for writing for 2 weeks. This may be unsustainable, which is why it's called a sprint, right? We don't run a marathon, as a series of sprints. It's a marathon, right? So we sprint sometimes if you're competitively running, but you don't sprint the whole way, right? So this is similar. You're not going to sprint all the time. It's impossible. You'll burn out. You're going to sprint when you need to advance a project far, or also think about when's the best time of the semester to plan a sprint. You don't want to plan a sprint in the same week that you're going to get 90 student essays, for example, because the grading is going to keep, eating away at your writing time. So what you want to do is get out a piece of paper, and write Monday through Friday on the top, maybe fold it in half, write Monday through Friday on the top, and then you have your week 1 and week 2, make yourself a chart and get out your calendar. And I want you to find 1 to 2 hours every day for those 10 weekdays over 2 weeks to do a sprint, to dedicate to your writing. So while you're choosing these hours, I want you to think about choosing hours of the day that you have energy and focus. So I call those hours your tiger time hours. I borrowed that from another entrepreneur, from Amy Porterfield. And I talk about this in other videos that you can actually find on this page. But the idea is you don't want to write 2 hours, in the evening when you're exhausted. Okay, so for me, that's the opposite of my tiger time. My tiger time is first thing when I get to work. So for me, an ideal sprint would be, from 8 to 10 every day for those 2 weeks, 8 to 10 in the morning, I'm going to block off writing time. And, you have to put it in your calendar. You can't schedule meetings over it. You can't, let it slip or do grading instead. It's only 2 weeks. You might think about, the fact that you need to kind of push some other things to the side during those 2 weeks, because we need to be, as I've written on my blog, right, serially successful in academia. We can't be successful at all the things all the time. We can be, instead, we want to be successful. We want our very good things to get done well and then excel in other areas, but we can't excel in all the areas all the time. So 2 weeks, you're going to block out your 1 to 2 hours a day, and you're going to put them on your calendar. And that's step 1. Okay. Step 2 is you're going to take your project and you're going to break it down into tasks. So if you're at the end of a project, I think this is actually easier. Making a list of all the things that need to get done in order to finish the project. And think about everything, including editing, sending to co-authors, whatever you need to do, make a big list. Okay, so you have your piece of paper with your times on each day mapped out, and you have your big list. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your big list and map it onto your sprint. So you're going to say, okay, on this day, I'm going to write, I'm going to finish the conclusion. That's going to take me 4 hours probably, make your best guess. Overestimate if you can when you're mapping tasks onto your calendar. Overestimate always so that you feel successful when you've done the thing in less time than you thought. Okay? And the idea really is to push a project forward. And here's what I want you to do at the end of the sprint. Okay, at the end of the sprint, I want you to realize that how far you've come. Okay, so even if you didn't 100% finish, maybe you didn't complete all the tasks that you were hoping to complete in 2 weeks, but you moved your project significantly forward. And that's the point of the sprint, is a push of energy and momentum. So this strategy is something that you can combine with other writing strategies or other writing systems. On its own, I don't think sprinting is, a sustainable writing system just by itself. But you could think about doing sprints on 2 or 3 major projects and rotating through them, right? So you sprint 2 weeks on one, sprint 2 weeks on the next, sprint 2 weeks on the next, but that's going to involve you having those 1 to 2 hours a day. So think about whether that's, an amount of time that you have for writing or not. So you could plan them in 2-week chunks like that, in like a little rotation, and rotate on your projects like that. You could build in a week in between. But I do think that sprinting is difficult to sustain. So doing that like 2 weeks and another 2 weeks and another 2 weeks, I don't completely recommend, but I think that it could work, especially for somebody like on sabbatical or on a research leave. That might be a way, if you don't have competing teaching or service, or not too much, then it's possible. Another thing to think about when you're doing a sprint is that after the 2 weeks, you have to change projects. I don't want you to burn out on projects, so on a particular project. So I want you to make sure that after the 2 weeks, you switch your project up. All right, so if you have any questions, you can go ahead and pop them in the comments. But for now, I encourage you to click through to the writing roadmap page and check it out. As I said, this sprinting technique, I teach it inside the course. The course is a 7-module online course with, in each module, there's at least 4 video lessons. There's a 30-page fillable PDF handout that we work through. And the result of the course that you will have is a clear map of your beautiful pipeline, your writing strategy, your writing system figured out for yourself. You will have culled back the amount of things that you do and create a process for saying no and yes. Okay, so I teach you a process for actually making academic decisions. So whether to take on projects or not, that is part of what I teach in the course. I teach about building a copy bank of regularly written emails as one way to do email management. So I do get into email management a bit, and other things related to time management. So I just want to encourage you that if you feel like you're pulled in 1,000 directions and you have a lot of things on your plate, then the Academic Women's Writing Roadmap course is a way to help you to get your writing done while still feeling happy and joyful about your work and about the contribution you have to make to the world, or that you want to make to the world. So click on through. Early bird ends tonight. If you register during early bird, it's $100 off registration. I have 2 tiers of the course. You can do the self-study version, which has the course plus a Facebook group where you'll be submitting your assignments and getting feedback from people. And we have a VIP tier, and in the VIP tier, you get the course plus one-on-one coaching from me, plus we kind of all go through it together in over 6 weeks. And Also, you get membership for a whole year to the Academic Women's Writing Collective, where we do co-writing and have monthly workshops. In fact, I was just preparing this month's workshop on how to break projects into tasks. So I hope you are having a wonderful Monday and that you have a great, great, great day. And I am sending you lots of hugs and love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.